Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind podcast. This community is about providing value first, and rather than having one interaction, one transaction, and one payday from the work you do, we're here to teach you to build so much more.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Probate Mastery weekly mastermind call. We do this every Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time, and get together and talk about all things probate real estate. Really, this is designed for people who have at least launched the process and are starting and work it out, meaning more than just a coaching program where you pay for the program and disappear for the rest of your life in frustration like so many. Really, this is a community where we get together and engage and share what we're doing, what's working, what's not working, how it works in our neighborhood, how it works in different neighborhoods, or different counties, different states, to be more effective as a group. And what I can tell you is the teamwork makes the dream work. But let's just do a quick show. Whoever has your camera on, go ahead and wave to the camera. We've got some pretty faces there, very nice. Love that you participate. At the same time, if you miss this call and watch on recording, it's recorded onto YouTube and other social media. You go to probatemastery.com and sign up and get invited and or see past episodes and excerpts and issues there. So I thought before I'd start asking questions, I want to share with you guys something I share with my team. And what I would say is that in the market we're in, you have to focus more than ever on leverage. And I want to talk about what that means. You know, if you've ever been sailing or seen like a sailing race, you know that in most sailing races, you're about half the time with the wind behind you, and half the time you have to, come into the wind, maybe not head on, but kind of, or maybe head on, but back into the wind. And for people who don't know about sailing, well, how do you sail into the wind? And the answer is there's certain tactics where you tack back and forth at an angle, and you're kind of off center, but then you come back the other way off center, and you go back and forth. And there's different tactics and equipment for when you're tacking and going into the wind versus when you're going with the wind. And I think real estate is similar to sailing in the sense that we often have the wind at our back, and we're sailing really fast, and we all can think, wow, I'm a genius. Look at all the business I'm doing. Look how easy it is. I don't have to work that hard. Business comes at me. I can do almost anything with marketing and get a response. Literally, monkeys can sell houses. You can dance in a bikini and get people to buy houses from you. And then one day the wind shifts, and just like when you're sailing and the wind shifts, all of a sudden you're not moving, and you have to change your tactics. And that's, I think, where we are in real estate, that for the last couple of years, the winds are back with low interest rates and a generally positive idea about real estate. And the market shifted in the sense that the wind now it's not our backs now, it's more in our face with higher interest rates and a bunch of other things. It doesn't mean it's bad. When you're sailing, that's not bad, because the same's true for your competition. That's just the way the wind's blowing. And you need to position yourself appropriately and use the proper technique, the proper system for that time of the market. And so what I want to say is, in a market like this, more than ever, you got to focus on leverage. And it's great if you're in the area of probate real estate to find the niche that works for you. And for some of you, you're doing great. Others of you are doing great. This niche has gotten a little tougher. And for some of you, you're trying to start, and it seems like a lot harder than you thought it would be. And so I'm going to share with you how to use leverage to negotiate and use in this market appropriately for you. And I will say that for me, I don't like to say whether, I get asked all the time, what's the easiest way to blank? And I'll say, well, I don't know. I know the most effective way for me, and I can share that. And so we're not looking for easy, we're looking for effective that will get us results. And so leverage is the key. And when you think about leverage in three different ways. Number one, think about any leverage you have regarding momentum. Anything you've done, because just like in sailing, when the wind's in your face all of a sudden, you're not moving very fast. But if you are moving, you want to use that move in the right direction. It's very important to be pointed in the correct direction. And so in momentum, that means if you went from 5 listings to 1, or 1 to 5, you want to use that listing or listings to your advantage in your social media, in your marketing, to whatever that means, generating leads. You need to use whatever momentum you have. You have a closing. You got to use that closing. Maybe last year, I was guilty of this, too busy to get client testimonials for every closing. Now, if you have less closings, use the ones you have to get those testimonials or referrals, or thank the person that referred you and go visit them in person, or whatever it is. But whatever momentum you have, you need to leverage that in this market when there's less wind at your back and more in your face. So number one is leverage momentum. Number two, you want to leverage people. What does that mean? That means every relationship is somebody you can either be an ally or a competitor or pull you down or neutral. And you really want to make everybody as possible an ally. So that means if you're a listing agent, you want to engage every buyer's agent you can. Make them your best friend. Have them sell your other listings. Do some lead generation with them. Hire them onto your team. If you're like me at EXP, put them into your downline if that helps them build their business and helps you at the same time. But you want to leverage everybody. That also means your vendors. You know, I'm reevaluating a couple of vendors where I've given them a lot of business the last few years. And I'm basically saying, listen, we all need to pull some weight here. And I've given you a lot of business. I need you to help me. And here's my specific ask to get some business. I want to give you more title orders, but here's what I need from you to make that work. So we want to leverage people that we have in our system. And then 3 is leverage money. And what I would say is be very careful where you spend money. There's a tendency when business drops to solve the problem by buying something, buying equipment, buying a service, paying for people, paying for assistants, going to coaching programs. And I'm not saying not to do any of that. I'm saying that you want to use your money as leverage in your business. And if you're going to do something, you need to see a return for that investment. And if you're going to buy equipment, how is that going to generate more business for you? I'm upgrading my computer. Why? I want to launch some more live streams, and I'm helping my team members do theirs as well. So these are things that are factoring into my business. I'm not doing it as a vanity project. Same with you. What are you investing money in? Take a look at your monthly bank statement, credit card statement, cut anything else out that's not contributing to your business. You want your money to be, you want to leverage whatever money you spend in your business to help you be successful for the upcoming year. So again, some of the bad habits the last couple of years, we didn't have the time or need to really look at these things. But today I'm going to say to you, you need to take a look at everything has to work in your direction, your momentum, all the business you have now, all the people you work with, vendors, competitors, colleagues, friends. And then third off, I would say your money. Make sure whatever you spend money on, you're focused on getting return for your investment because this is a business, unless it's a hobby. And if it's a hobby for you, good for you. But this is a business for me, it's a very serious business. So that's what I have to say. What are your thoughts? Feel free to chime in. What are you doing for next year to help you build your business? And how can we all help you? Also, while we're on the call, feel free to put in the chat box your name, company, state, or county that you do business in, your contact info, because we should all be networking together. I don't think a day goes by that I don't generate a lead in a state that I don't know somebody. Literally this morning, Kentucky, yesterday, New York. And so I know I have a never-ending need for more referrals to refer out to. So feel free to share, use on this call, put your name, company, where you do business, and your contact info, and let's all work together. Okay, I talked a lot. I'm on my soapbox. I'll step down a little bit. Who's got a question, a problem? Who's got a victory you want to share, or a problem we can all help on together? Anybody? Who's first? Do we have anybody in Arkansas? Lynette? I don't know anybody in Arkansas. How about that one? Who's in Arkansas? Karen Taylor, Brokers Guild, and there she is. Look at that. So again, here's a good reason why. There you go. Lynette put all her contact info. Thank you, Lynette. And Roger Lease is also in Arkansas. Okay, good. And Jeff Campbell's out. There's 3 people on the call in Arkansas. Wow, a state I've never even been to. 3 so far we've identified. Good. Questions, comments, problems?
Bill, what do you think this kind of downturn in the real estate prices is going to have on effect? Like what kind of effect on probates? Like I look for probate properties, people pass away, either just sell them for them or buy them and fix them up myself and sell them. I'm in Boston. Things have slammed to a dead stop here. What's your kind of take on the whole downturn thing here?
Sure. So first up, you're an agent, not an investor.
I'm both.
Okay, but you're an agent, a member of the MLS. So my first question would be for you is, how many sales were there that closed last month versus a year ago, 2 years ago, and 3 years ago? Do you know those numbers?
I don't know them off the top of my head. No, I don't. So
here's my challenge to everybody here who's a real estate agent. I think, and I do this on my video all the time, and I don't mean to be argumentative, but I do want to challenge you to look at your language, because I believe that if you run the numbers on average in the average market, the number of sales from pre-COVID 2019 is down by units about 30 or 40% from the same month 3 or 4 years ago. I guess pre-pandemic, 3 years ago. I think you'll find that the sales prices that time went up by that same amount. And so the total sales and total commission dollars are pretty close to the same on average in most markets, not true in any particular market, but on average. So I'd be really careful when we talk about the market. We should be precise, because when people say the market's come to a halt, now I don't know Boston personally. I'm in LA. It's so cold here at 62. I thought about wearing a long sleeve shirt. That's how freezing it is here. So I can imagine that when it snows, business is different than it is in LA, where November, December is no big deal. But is it more than normal? Meaning November 2019 versus November, and of course, November 2019, I think we're in the pandemic, so you may have to go back to 2018. But be careful about the verbiage. Don't talk yourself into it being worse than it is. It's enough of a challenge as it is. Don't make it worse. I would say number one. Number two, I do see a lot of real estate agents who are, I think about a third are just giving up. And I see about a third of them saying, oh my gosh, what I was doing isn't working. I'm looking for an easy answer. I think probates are easy. I'll try that. Now, if anybody here is known as a probate agent, have you had people approach you with that kind of line of thinking? Anybody besides me? And so what I think you're going to see is that where agents a year ago knew they couldn't handle a listing and would refer it to somebody else or not chase it, I see agents desperately holding on to it and messing up the deal, which is an opportunity to work with buyers or investors on those deals. But I will definitely say that while probate's a great niche to work in, it's not like there's not other agents trying to pile in and compete. So I will say people continue to die and people still need to sell houses, but like everything else in a competitive market, everything becomes more competitive. You've got to be a lot better and distinguish yourself from the competition to get the business. I'll share with you personally, one of the things I've done is I've moved into or added in commercial business, whereas a year ago, I pretty much avoided it, referred it out. And in the last 12 months, I sold probably last year about $150,000 of vacant land, and the last 12 months, maybe 200,000 plus of commercial property in probate. They had none, zero 2 years ago. And I didn't feel comfortable, but I took some training and I looked at the documents, and I've really been much more aggressive on working on those deals with attorneys, and it's paid off. So to answer your question, I do think that we're seeing more agents entering into it. I think companies are looking for ways to help their agents, or adding that in. And I think that the only response is to get better at your practice, get better at your business to compete. And if you want to compete with me, good luck. Does that help a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not going to compete with you, not in California.
Well, you're welcome to try. I'm trying to get into Boston. I'm looking for a Boston team leader. Well, good. Thanks. Appreciate it. And again,
Yeah,
I hope I was too harsh on the mindset, but I think it's really important, and why we do these calls, why I do them, is it forces me to be on my game, keep my mindset up. For all of us, though, the challenge is in the market, and there's challenges, no doubt. Let's not make them worse than they are by selling ourselves out of the business. At the end of the day, I know in my market, when I pull the market stats from my MLS, it matches about the same as nationally, that sales are about 70% by units of what they were 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And the sales prices are up. So the total commissions are up from 4 years ago. Now, there are a lot more agents that came in the market, and there's a lot of agents leaving every day, just piling out of the market as fast as possible. And I also think there's a lot of agents who have very bad habits, who've never really sold a property in a competitive situation before. So if you're a full-time agent, you've been in this business 4 more years, sharpen your skills, get your mindset right, and this is the market where you're going to destroy people. Okay, good. Thanks so much. Okay, who else has questions, challenges? Let's see, I see some stuff in it. So thank you for the referrals in the box. A lot of good contact info. Remember, in Zoom, you can save the chat so you can get everybody's contact information later, and that way you can reach out to those who are appropriate. Christopher says, does anybody have any good skip tracing firm that can locate heirs, especially international heirs? That's a question I see a lot lately. And I think that speaks to, digging a little deeper and sharpening your skills a little bit. I saw that question specifically in the LA County Bar chat room yesterday. So I don't know anybody in particular that does international heirs. I know I interviewed a company on my web channel, Mark, a guy out of New York and Florida, Michael Zwick. Inherit More is the company. And he has a business where he has a self-service, and I'll put in the chat box his contact info, where he helps find heirs and helps heirs find resources and such. And let's see if I can find the YouTube I did on that one. I interviewed him. Great. I reached out to him, try to do him again to interview him. Probate. And if anybody else knows anybody, these are the kind of reasons why we want to be sharing information, because these are challenges that we can find. Here it is. I got the information. I'm going to put in the chat box the link. I did an interview with Michael about, I want to do it about a year ago. Great guy, honest, and I feel real good referring him. I've worked with him on one matter so far. So here's interview. Kat says, a non-probate law firm can refer you to somebody for the specializes in civil claims and insurance claims. Okay. I think also there, though, I think those companies hire, I've seen in court attorneys talk about services. I've never really found one but Michael. I am certainly interested in anybody else. If you have a firm that does this type of work, I am definitely interested in finding more, because they're all different. They all have a different flavor, different style. And the more vendors you have, the more chances you have to help your customers. A great question. That was from Christopher. Good. Who else has a challenge or problem? And here's what I'll tell you. If you don't have a problem, then you're not working hard enough, because we get paid to solve problems. So really, business and real estate, I think, looks like you work hard, you talk to a bunch of people, you find a bunch of problems, and you solve them one by one, you get paid. So I'll show you guys a problem I had, never experienced before. So I mentioned to you, I've been doing more commercial. So one of the listings I just got, my largest listing of my career, is a small medical center where probate estate had to sue this guy and get control of this medical center. So we took control of it and we listed it. It looked like it had been abandoned. It was locked up. There was a chain on the parking lot. Well, it turns out they were working like 2 or 3 days a week. So the next day after the lockout, the sheriffs came and we relocked everything. I get a phone call from a guy who says he's a friend of the tenant. Now, I know something's suspicious, but it turns out he's hiding. He's the attorney for this defendant. And he wants to get in because his business is this medical center, and he needs the records for his patients, and he needs the pharmaceuticals because we locked him out. All the stuff was still in there. Well, think about that for a second. Anybody think having patient records might be a responsibility? Do you think you just throw them in the trash in the middle of the night? You don't even want to take possession of them, right? As the agent, I certainly don't want to touch them. So initially it was, well, can we set up a meet with a guy to give him access? And I called the attorney and I said, I don't think this is right. Number one, on the medical records. What else is the problem? Anybody else besides me think that a supply room full of pharmaceuticals might be a problem? So now we're contacting the state agency, and we're hoping they'll just come and take control of all that stuff, because obviously patient record. And here's the other part that's really scary, is not just patients who are being serviced or treated now. Those records are obviously important. You're talking about health issues. But the people they treated a year ago who may need to come back and need access to those records, those are important. And then there's other ones that are, let's say, 10 years old and worthless, but for their privacy concerns. Imagine what you have to do with that. So there's companies that specialize in disposal of these records. They maintain them and all that. They charge you a fortune. So, the trial and tribulations of a probate real estate agents, you learn this stuff. Those are both new to me in my career so far. I've never before had medical records to deal with, and I've never before had pharmaceuticals. So I had some pretty scary stuff, but not that. So those are my 2 latest problems that we're still working on. And of course, the attorney kind of be there while they move this stuff out. It's a 5-hour process, but yeah, I can manage all that. And I hire a couple of people, and they'll sit there for 5 hours and watch them move stuff out and check them and all that stuff. So, but that's what we do. Other questions? Dave Pennell, I see you on the call. What's going on with you, man? What's up with your business? What's your latest activity?
Just trying to reorganize my database, my CRM, make sure it's firing off. Everything's perfect. You get one mistake and then it leads down a rabbit hole of stuff that you could fix. So that's what I've been working on the last couple of days.
It's so funny because I know that some people from a personality trait are very focused on everything being perfect. And I'm much more on the just launch it, get it out there, and you'll figure it out. And people call me and say, oh my gosh, this is wrong. Okay, I'll fix it.
I misspell everything and my grammar sucks. And then I set up plans in my system to work, and then I have something that doesn't look just right because I try to launch it too soon. Yeah, exactly right.
One of the things I host my own, shameless plug, my own probate live stream on Thursdays, Probate Weekly. And that's more of an interview format where I interview attorneys and vendors and such. Shameless plug, this Thursday, I'm going to do a probate advance company. But nice. to generate leads of attorneys, vendors, and real estate agents. And so I use a service Eventbrite to manage that. And their service is basically free. You can pay to upgrade. And there's a certain thing that if you have weekly events, sometimes the emails go out and they're dated. Like you'll have the 5 upcoming dates, including like last week's and then this week's and so on. And people email me, freak out. Oh my gosh, your thing had last week's email. Yeah, whatever, it's free. And thousands of people have come because of it. So it can only be so good, But what is it? Perfect is the enemy of great. So I try to get this stuff done.
I want to grow something like you have on YouTube, so I just need to get to it. So please subscribe and support me. My new YouTube, Pivot Agent. If you can find it, just look it up, Pivot Agent. And I'm going to start doing the same thing probably on Fridays. I'm going to dive deep into what I'm doing with my CRM to convert more business just automatically and once the contact's in the system.
Well, great. So I see a question here from Christopher. Beneficiary for trust, the property is underwater and the successor trustee doesn't want to attempt to sell, as it may be a short sale. How can beneficiary force to sell the property? So I don't think you can force the trustee to do anything, but you can certainly negotiate with them. And I think that if it's worth something to you, it's like anybody else, it'd be a short sale, cash for keys of some sort. I think the opportunity, as real estate agents and investors, we should be very, very focused on non-traditional opportunities in the market now. This might be one where I don't know the property in the area, but they're properties that are underwater, but they have a mortgage on the books from years ago with a lower interest rate. And so it might be that you can rent the property for enough to cover the cost, or you can sell the property and wrap the mortgage, especially if it's in the name of a decedent, that you may not care. So I would say to you, I might take a look at some alternative ways to sell the property, whether sell carryback, wrap around, subject to, and or they might just give, quit claim their beneficial interest in exchange for a couple $1,000s. Who would say no to a couple $1,000s? Generally speaking, almost anybody will give the property at that if you have access to it. So there's a couple options. I would try selling their interest, selling it subject to, maybe doing a wraparound. Chris, I don't know if that helps you or you want to jump in and ask more questions on that. I don't see you unmuted, so. Okay, who else has a question, challenge that I can help with? Anybody? Skip Genie. Okay, there you go for the skip tracing service. There's a lot of them. They seem to kind of come and go with the business from where I sit. Anybody else have a question besides me? I could talk about this all day long. So Christopher says, if they sell their interest, how would the new beneficial owner be forced to sell without a court action? Well, again, if the beneficiary, I don't know the details of your case, Christopher, but he's asking, if they sell their interest, how would they force the sale? So if the beneficiary can't necessarily do anything, but your initial question was, how does the beneficiary force the successor trustee to sell the property? If the trustee sells it, then you don't need court action, right? If it's underwater and they say, I don't be bothered with it being a short sale, you might say, well, even though if you sell it on the regular market, you're not going to net any money, but I'll give you $2,000 to the trustee to sell your interest in the property. Then in essence, they walk away with $2,000. And again, if the mortgage is maybe in the name of the decedent, again, I don't know which state you're in and all the details of the law, but it might be a way to wrap that mortgage and keep it or to rent it out and cover it. And so Christopher asked, could the new beneficiary bring the court action to replace the successor trustee? If in general, it depends on the state, in general, if a beneficiary can prove that the trustee is not acting in the best interest of the trust, then the trustee is subject to being removed or being forced. The problem with that is that's going to cost time and money, right? To go to court, filing fees and attorneys and all that, and time, and those mortgages are being charged over time. So you can often get the trustee removed if you can prove that they're not doing something. But if all it is a short sale and you're offering them $2,000, it's going to cost the estate more than $2,000 to defend itself. So I don't know that you would really go through the whole process. Corey has a question. Corey, let's get you unmuted. How can we help you?
Hey, Bill. Yeah, it's funny you brought that up. I'm working on an estate right now. We've been working with the personal representative for the last 2 years, and he was just removed on Wednesday last week. So we're working with an intermediary attorney that's taken over as the PR. So we just got a call back today and going to go over the offers that we've got on the property with him and hopefully get it signed today.
Nice. What state is this in?
Washington.
Seattle, Washington. Very nice. So this happens. This is not uncommon. I mean, there's a whole genre of law centered on, this would be a trust administration litigation. And this is where you get a different type of attorney than a standard probate attorney, right? There's probate attorneys who file probates and administration, and there's other ones that administer trusts and deal with all the paperwork. But there's a different kind of attorney generally who litigates. And so beneficiary hires them and says the trust isn't doing its job, and you get them removed, and it happens. I get a lot of phone calls on this question all the time, and the question that Chris, of course, goes right back is, how long did it take? So in your case, Corey, you know how long it took from the time they started? Of course, you only know from when they filed. They may have tried to remove them from the beginning. Do you know the background and how long it took?
I think it started about 3 months ago when one of the heirs, the niece, got her own attorney, and then her attorney filed with the court. So,
Okay.
and it was just they had a lot of hearings back and forth. And then it was funny because the first hearing they had, they kind of forced the PR's hand to find an agent. And we had been talking to him for like 2 years.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing is it's difficult. When you have two sides fighting, it's hard to be the one they're going to pick. You're not going to get it all the time. You're not going to get it maybe even much more than half the time. That's why you want to work both sides, both attorneys if you can. But that's hard to do, and they tiptoe that. And that's a bit of an art. And in his case, it's a few months. I've had cases where you can see the history has been years. And this is why I tell people when you in probate, you want to get the property sold right away. The longer the probate is going, the more likelihood that one of the beneficiaries will say, "You're selling it too cheap. I object." And then the whole process can unravel. So, all right, Corey, thanks. Did we answer your question? Corey, thanks so much. Cool. Vince, I see your hand up. How can we help you?
Yeah, I have a story of stupidity that maybe people would get a smile out of.
Sure.
I finally signed up with EstateExec, the software, and I set up a dummy case just to basically familiarize myself with the software. Well, after a period of time, I kept getting a thing saying, well, your software subscription is going to expire. And of course, I'm sweating that out. What did I do wrong? I signed up on the proper place. Well, here it was my little test that was going to expire, not my account with EstateExec. So that just goes to show how stupid I can be. After I thought about it, I'm thinking, Vince, you are one dumb son of a gun. So if they send you an email saying your account is about to expire, probably not. It's just the dummy file that you started. So, but the good thing is I've actually acquired several appraisal assignments as part of, as a result of my marketing, but I can't cross the line. I can't be a real estate appraiser and an agent at the same time, but at least I'm getting the word out. People know what my niche is. So anyway, that's a thumbs up. But anyway, the EstateExec, I'm actually not sharing it with anybody. I was just trying to familiarize myself with the software. So I haven't shared it with anybody because I don't feel I'm proficient enough in it to actually recommend it. Like you said, perfectionism is the enemy or whatever you said of good, but I'm struggling just trying to get familiar with it. So I certainly couldn't recommend it to anybody that I couldn't actually run it myself. That's the way I feel anyway.
Okay. I think that at the end of the day, whatever gets you talking to more people and creating more value for customers is going to generate business. And so EstateExec is another option you can use to approach. I'm just curious, Vince, how do you get the appraisals?
Well, just basically through posting what I'm trying to niche down to on my business Facebook page. Basically, instead of doing mortgage appraisals, which I've done for over 30 years, now I'm starting to target attorneys and people like that handle that type of case, because I'm out of the mortgage appraisal business, and that's who seems to be seeing my posts, and like I said, got a couple of appraisals out of it. So
do you post content that you have this product, or how did you
okay, well, I guess you misunderstood. It's actually two separate things. I'm not pushing EstateExec.
Got it.
It was just a funny story that I thought they were booting me out of the software when in fact they were just booting out that test case that I put in. So
got it. I think anybody, once you sign up for it and feel even the slightest bit proficient, I would put it out there. You can give it to them. You might even pay for them, for their case, to watch the process and test it. I think it's really important to generate the activity. And sometimes in the beginning, you have to pay for things just to get people to buy. And even it's free. I know one of my coaches is Grant Cardone. He says, even if your product or service is by far the best in the market, and even if you give it away for free, it's 10 times harder than you can imagine to get people to sign up. we think that if we just have the right product, somehow we're going to get 5 closings a month. It doesn't work that way. It's harder than that. And there's too many steps on the way that you have to grow and improve your systems in. And so I would just say, get out there and share it as much as you can, as long as you're honest. I wouldn't pretend I'm an expert in it. I would say it's a fabulous tool. I don't really know how to use it, but I'm glad to pay for it if you want to give it a try. I'm glad to support you on it.
Well, that's a good point, but I would like to be able to answer a question should one arise. Okay, Vince, you supplied this software. Well, we have this question about it. Well, at least
Sure,
I would like to be competent enough to answer a simple question, and I don't feel I am at this point. So
you're not. And so I'd say to you, if you can just get 100 people to use it and keep track of all their questions and answers, then you'll be competent. And how do you do that is maybe give it away and just track the emails going back and forth between you and EstateExec. And as they answer the questions, you have now a list of frequently asked questions. And if you pay attention, you'll know how to answer all of those. So I wouldn't let that get in the way. I think again, perfectionism is getting away if you're good. And if you're going to use that product, I would get out in people's hands. And as long as you're honest with them, I would never lie and say I'm an expert in this software. The opposite, I'm beta testing it. It should cost you whatever it is, $80, $90. I want to pay for it for you. Just understand I don't know anything about it. Here's their customer service, and I've heard the founder, and here's who they are, and it's my gift to you as long as you share the information with me. I wouldn't hesitate to do that at all.
I like that beta test idea, or the way to frame it. That's very good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bill, this is
Yes.
Deborah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Deborah.
I like that about the beta testing, because my question is, or was, how would you approach an attorney and offer this if you've never offered it before? So that was my question too. Like, how would you even bring that up? Like, I have this magic program that you can have for free. Just give me the feedback. I don't know.
Well, that's why. Well, let me just say, number one, I don't know the answer. Number two, let's develop the answer as a group. I mean, anybody here who's using the product and you're posting on social media, share with us in the Probate Mastery group in Facebook. And there's another one, Estate something. I have one, Probate Experts. Let's share. Number three, I don't know, just write 3 different posts. Just try one, then another. See which one engages your customers. There's different ways to test stuff. You can put it on Facebook, see which one more people like and comment on, and then email that out to your database, the one that gets the most engagement. I don't know the answer, but I would say I wouldn't let that stop me from trying, whether it be posting it or emailing it out or asking customers. You might post it and say, hey, I'd love your feedback. It's a great tool that I'm adding to my business. I'm not quite sure how to do it. Here's a post I prepared. If you're interested, if you think it's good, I'd love your feedback on it. Ask them for it. I see a lot of fake engagement. There are people who post like, which of these 3 photos do you like better? And they're just doing it to create engagement. Somebody went to a social media class and said, oh, one way to get people engaged is ask them some stupid question, they'll participate. And you can just tell the question is in that tone. This is different. This is, hey, I have a great product. I think that I have a lot of customers who benefit from it. How do you think I should, get it out there? If that's really where we come from. Does that help a bit, Deborah?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I have a product. I love your feedback. I have a great product that I forgot that part. I have a great product that people could benefit from. I think that's, I'll fix it up. Okay.
Many of my customers would appreciate and benefit from. A lot of people in our community would benefit from. Look, there's nothing more heartbreaking than going to LA County Probate Court and watching families' wealth destroyed because somebody didn't set up an estate plan before. And when you really dig into these, if you really, I don't want to get too emotional here, but I can't tell you how many times I see a man serves in World War II, his wife, while he was away, raised the family and has a job to hold the family down. They buy a house with a GI Bill, they pay it off, they live a good life, they raise 5 kids, they pass because they're older, but they never had an estate plan. And now 5 kids are fighting in probate court, they all have attorneys, and attorneys are gonna get all the money, there'll be nothing left for the kids. And in heaven somewhere, there's this couple who worked hard and slaved for their kids, and that wealth is being dissipated, and the attorneys and the county are getting rich. Happens all the time. And the estate planning process will avoid that and let the decedent keep the money in the family and build generational wealth. So I'm really passionate about the concept of the product. I think if you find out where your real voice is on that, let it come through on this.
I really like the way you frame that, Bill. I really do. And I like the ideas that you put forth after that. because it doesn't cost us anything to offer a 10-day free trial.
Nothing.
And, just say, hey, folks, if this is something that you'd be interested in, I'd really appreciate you taking this trial and giving me true feedback as to whether you think this would be something that your family could use in the future.
Right. I see so many people post that they're committed to helping build wealth, financial wealth, information, education, and such. This is the ultimate tool. It's free for 10 days to check out. If you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, don't keep it. And for some of us, I'd pay for it for clients to use it, on the assumption that they'll either use me for the real estate, or they'll use an estate planning attorney who would refer me other business. I could see going to an attorney and say, I'm going to give you 20 subscriptions of this for free as a thank you for the deal I just got. And not as a referral fee to him, which may or may not be legal, but as a way to do business together. I want the next referral. Let me plant the seed and try to do that ahead of time. To go back to Deborah's question on how would I post to promote EstateExec, I don't do that, but I do promote other things. For example, YouTube videos. And sometimes in my Facebook group, or now I happen to be with a large company where we have a large internal kind of Facebook equivalent, but I definitely post things there and get feedback from other agents before I put them out there. So I would definitely encourage you to search feedback from your colleagues, but also from customers, and see what's going to be good. But definitely use other, and feel free to post it in the Probate Mastery group. Okay, what else? There you go. There's a link for the Facebook group. Fantastic. Okay, so let me ask a question real quick. I'm going to take a quick poll for those of you who are on the call paying attention. First question: how many of you are realtors? Now I'm going to ask you your primary role. Like I'm an investor also, but I'm primarily a realtor, a real estate agent, versus investor or wholesaler. But let's put realtor, investor, wholesaler, other. Put that in the chat box, which you are. I'm just curious on our call here today. So the second question is, if your peak part of the year is 100%, what percentage of effort are you going to do on a daily basis between now and the end of the year? Let's say, obviously excluding Christmas and Thanksgiving Day and such. But what percentage of the time are you going to work? Are you going to work your normal work hours? Like my normal work hours are 8 to 5, Monday to Thursday, 8 to noon on Friday, and 4 hours of admin work on Sunday. I'm going to continue that effort through the end of the year, other than the holidays. So I'm going to be 100. You're going to work more or less, same the rest of the way? Looks like hundreds. Normal daily prospecting. Melissa, I love it. Melissa, I love that. Normal daily prospecting. Office hours 10 to 6 and by appointment. Okay. So that'll continue the rest of the year. Here's the thing though, if we're just working office hours, that means waiting for people to call us. I suspect, for anybody between now and the end of the year, if you're not affirmatively generating activity, things slow down. And I think that's most real estate agents is we had enough business during the summertime where just answering the phone and responding, we were busy. And I think this time of year, you need to fill that gap by doing other activities that generate business. And for me, that's calling attorneys, doing videos with attorneys, live streaming, things like that. 100%. Okay, so it sounds like most of you want to work 100%. And what I'll say to you is, okay, got Corey's off a little bit for the holiday. It's the best time of the year to work. Now, I will be honest, I have an advantage over you. I'm Jewish. So in September, I had 7 work days out of 21 where I couldn't work. No phone, text, email, nothing. I've had plenty of time off. I'm rested and raring to go. So for me, other than Christmas, and Christmas Day, for me is a work day. I just do my business plan and do stuff that doesn't involve talking to people. But this is the time of year and that way I hit January running full speed. And so if you're starting the year, January 2nd or 3rd, you're starting from a stop. I'm running full tilt come January. Good. And Saul's making it happen. Good. So I'm glad to help be with you, make it happen. Okay, I see Winston Covington has his hand up. So let's see what Winston has to say.
Hey, Bill, you actually just said what it was I was going to say, because those of us that have been around for a while, for several years in this business, we know that starting about next week, probably 80% plus of the agents are going to go to sleep for the holidays. And now think about waking up till January when their credit card bills are coming in. So I was just going to say what you said, whatever has been working for the agents here on the webinar today, turn it on, man. Finish the fourth quarter strong, hit the ground running the first quarter of 2023, and you'll have so much more of a better jump on your competition, and you will stand out.
Thank you. I agree 100%. Look, this is a great time of the year to make new relationships. If you took the EARN program, for sure. If you didn't, but you want more business from attorney referrals, we talk about it here on this channel all the time. Great time of the year to stop by your law offices and drop off something. It doesn't have to be expensive, Seas Candy has some little packages you can buy inexpensively. That's always been my go-to, to be honest. They're kosher. I'm Jewish. That works. But I think everybody loves Seas Candy that I know of. And they sell these pre-packaged boxes and they're wrapped up. And I used to take a bunch of them to court and give them out to every sheriff I saw, the bailiffs and such. But same with law firms. It's a great time of the year to invite people out to lunch, invite them out for drinks, whatever it is you do, shooting, golf, hunting, whatever you do for fun. And attorneys in particular, they're very open to those kinds of social activities to meet you. So if ever you're going to do it, this is the time of year to do it. I'm not, to me, the holiday parties, if you enjoy the holiday party, if you're going to see people that you enjoy being with, the company I'm with has a holiday party. To be honest, I don't really want to go for the holiday party. I'm going to go see some people who I don't see all year long. It's a chance to be with them a little bit. But that's not business. That's I have to check the box and kind of do that. But holiday parties, if you host your own, it's fantastic. And the thing people miss is that the key of the holiday party is not the people who show up. It's even the people that don't show up because you're inviting them. But I would say between now and the end of the year, make a habit to go out to lunch every day with an attorney. I used to do that. I would still do that, but you really can't do it here in LA the way you could before COVID. I'm not getting into a whole discussion on that. I used to go to lunch. I would book lunches 4 days a week. This is a great time of year to do that. Great time of year to meet for drinks. Great time of the year to meet for coffee at the courthouse if they're going to be there. Great time of year to drop by offices and drop off a gift, a thank you gift. So I'd say this, if you're waiting for the phone to ring, it is going to be a slower time of the year. But if you take the gap in your time and use that for business development, this is the best time of year to make some relationships and make some progress. So thanks, Winston. Okay, good. I think we're coming to the end here. Any last questions, burning desires, problems we can help with before we wrap up? I think we covered a lot today. Was this productive today? A little bit? Hopefully. Okay. Well, look, I'm working hard the rest of the year. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm in the Probate Mastery group daily. I watch that pretty carefully. I'm Bill Gross. I also host Probate Weekly every week, Thursdays at 4 p.m. That's more interview. I usually have an interview guest and try to go into depth on what they do. So I'd love to have you guys join me at probateweekly.com. If not, you can call, text, email me, or note me in the chat in the Probate Mastery Facebook group. We do this every Tuesday at noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's also on the Probate Mastery website. It's also streamed onto YouTube. Kat does a great job editing it. Makes me look handsome. Can you believe I look more handsome than I do now? It's hard to even imagine. But Kat does some magic with all that filtering, all that stuff. So thanks to Kat for your support in the background. Thank you, everybody, for making a great call today. Corey and Winston and Deborah, great talking to you as always. And Vince, thanks for your help. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.